What's going on, guys? I am in a different environment today. I just got done dropping my wife off at the airport, so I'm gonna be driving, so I figured I'd record this short video. But I wanted to make a quick video, something that came to mind recently. We were talking to a couple clients recently, and there's just some limiting fear and limiting beliefs around like investing in themselves. And I think it's something that holds a lot of people back. They get really nervous about investing in themselves, but at the same time, they want clients to pay them a lot of money, but they themselves are not willing to invest in themselves. And I want to kind of tell you a story of when I first started and some of the limiting beliefs and limiting mindsets that I had around like investing myself. And it could be really difficult sometimes when you've never invested tens of thousands of dollars in your own self-education. To this point, I've probably invested, including ads, including coaching, including all that, like $2.6 million in my own coaching education, like learning different skill sets and how to do different things. I think it's about 2.6. I'd have to pull up the exact numbers, but it's definitely over 2 million. And I'll tell you from experience, it never gets easier. It is always difficult to pull the trigger, but it gets easier when you know that you could trust yourself to get the result, right? And I'll tell you a story. So when I was first starting, I needed coaching, right? I didn't know how to get more leads, more calls, more sales, and I was struggling. And I was living in my apartment at the time with my girlfriend, who's now my wife, and we were living in an apartment. She had a job. I was working as a server at a country club, and just like not making a ton of money. And so because of that, I was like, I need to really take this seriously and figure out how I can make more money and grow this thing in a way that's gonna be sustainable. So I saw a couple ads for this guy who had gotten a bunch of other people results just like me. And so I reached out and then I booked a call with someone from their sales team, right? And I get on the call, he pitches me the price. I think it was like $12,000 at the time. And I like almost shit my pants. I was like, dude, I don't have $12,000. Like, what in the world am I going to do? So I was freaking out a little bit, and I ended up not closing on the call. I said, hey, I want some time to think about this. So I took about a week and a half. I didn't reach back out to him. And then eventually he reached back out to me. He's like, hey man, like, where are we going here? Like, what do you want to do? And I was just giving him some excuses and BS and all that jazz. And he ended up just saying, hey, can I be super blunt with you? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, please. And he was like, well, you said you want all these things. You said you want to make millions of dollars. You said you want to do these things, but you're not taking actions in accordance with the person who does those things. And I really paused for a second and I was like, shit, like, you're right. As much as I don't want you to be right, like, you're right. I am physically not where I want to be at this point. I'm a server at a country club. I'm not making millions of dollars, right? I haven't gotten there. And I'm making all these excuses as to why I can't do it just because I don't have the money or I'm scared about the money. And he was like, well, if I handed you a business that was doing $2 million a year and I guaranteed that, and I said, here's the keys, here's the business, you take it, it's going to be $12,000. And if you don't have $12,000, like, what are you going to do? That's what he said to me. And I was like, well, dude, I would figure out how to make $12,000 or find it or borrow it or whatever, right? And he's like, well, why aren't you doing that now? And he just paused. And I was like, shit, you're right. He's like, whether you make $2 million a year or $5 million a year or $10 million a year, or whatever it may be, that's up to you at the end of the day. Like, that is your choice. You have to believe in yourself to do that. And when he said that, it really hit me. I was like, damn, I gotta figure out a way to pay for this. So I ended up putting it on a credit card, and we ended up splitting it up over like, I think 3 months or something like that. And I went into the program, and Ethan, my COO at the time now, but Ethan, one of my buddies, went in with me, and we're like, dude, I don't care what I have to do, I'm going to make this work for me. I don't care what I have to do, I'm going to make it work. And I went in with that mindset of like, how can I make this work? Instead of, will this work for me? And we had joined the program with some other people at the time as well. And I had seen them in the Facebook group just complaining like, this isn't working and that isn't working. And they weren't even really making an effort to do anything. They just had that mindset of like, will it work? And then Ethan and I went in there, and within like 6 to 7 months, we had made $1 million with the offer. Like, hands down, flat, made $1 million. Like, over 6 to 7 months, obviously, so it wasn't instantaneous. But the things we learned, we made over $1 million. And then I see these people who are a year later, 2 years later, in the group, still complaining about the same things. They're switching things all the time. They're not taking it seriously. And it all kind of boils down to this mindset of like, will I make this work? Not, will this work for me? And I think a lot of people get hung up because they're like, will this work? Instead of, I'm going to make it work. Because one, in will I make this work, you're putting the external control in someone else's hands. And when you say, I will make this work, you're putting the control in your hands and saying, I am going to find a way to make this work. And so whether you join our program, someone else's program, it doesn't matter. Go into it with the mindset of like, I will make this work for me. And I promise you, just by doing that, you're gonna get better results because of it. And so that's my 2 cents for today, guys. I figured I'd record a different video outside of my boring office because you guys see that all the time. So if you like these, drop a comment down below, and shameless plug, if you wanna learn how we could possibly help your video business grow, there should be a link down below, schedule a call with our team, or feel free to just enjoy the content on YouTube, completely free, and we'll see you in the next video.